I love this light coming out from behind the clouds. Streaming out. And there's somebody down there with a horse in the water. Also, a couple of weeks ago when we were at the seaside, there were people that had some horses at the Mediterranean going in on the waves. Yeah, it was very special. Soon we will be an hour behind our early sunrises of the middle of June, 5:30 a.m. Now it's almost 6:30 a.m. The sun has obviously risen, but the cloud is blocking it there. Today the readings prompt us to look a little deeper than what we do on the outside. And again, we have two contrasting paradigms, and that helps us to also, oh, there's the sun. That helps us also to reflect on our own situation, our own behavior, what happens inside our own hearts. And sometimes we're happy just to have the external doings. It looks good, you know, that person always goes to church. Or that person at home is praying sometimes. Or that person has that smile. But it could also be a little bit on the outside and not on the inside. We have that wonderful line in the Psalm, "You have searched me and you know me, Lord. Lord, you have searched me and you know me." To be known by God in the depths of my being. And also to know myself. Because as I know God and His view and heart for me, then I'm also knowing myself. A famous line and prayer of St. Augustine was to know you, to know myself. To know myself. Many times we're just on the surface. And there's a lot in the human heart, a lot of depth, a lot of potential. And we can often truly misestimate people. When I was preparing last night a little report for the next newsletter article about one of our employees, and it's really one of my joys every month to sit down with one of the employees and learn their story. And this guy is the dad of 3 boys. 2 of them are redheads. They're little boys, I think somewhere between 5 and 12 years of age, or 7 and 12. And just the way he was speaking about them, you know, I didn't know this man. We all have our tasks to do, and we go about our tasks, and there's a courteous greeting, and there's kindness, and there's helpfulness. But to sit down for an hour with somebody and just chat about life, chat about what's going on, it's a delight, really. And I don't remember any conversation with any of the employees, and every month there has been one. You can go and check out the Crossroads articles on the Magdala newsletter, the journal. We call it Magdala Journal. And the section that I do is called Crossroads. And it's just a delight to get to know people, what's beneath the surface, what moves them, what are their intentions. And this guy is a teacher. And the wages aren't great for teachers. He's teaching agriculture to primary school kids. It's also a discovery for me that parents want that for their children. It's a specialized extra offering, academic offering, or formation offering, school offering for primary school kids to become aware of nature, where food's coming from, not to think that cucumbers come from supermarkets, that there's a little bit more to the backstory. And that's the case here as well with the human heart. There's a little bit more beneath the surface, and there's a lot of room for great potential. And people in very simple, normal circumstances reach extraordinary holiness and fulfillment and joy. And that actually just catapults geometrically in eternal life. And people who are just stuffed with externals are going to find themselves empty. And that's really a little bit of the woe that's in the gospel. The woe, the oncoming sorrow, the oncoming emptiness of the human heart forever, which is very sad, because we're made for the fullness of God. And no wonder the word woe is used. And when we look at the first reading today, then we have the opposite paradigm of the fulfillment. And it requires a lot of self-giving to be fulfilled. That means you're pouring yourself out, but you're being fulfilled. And that's a great secret of life. And parents are so happy to see their kids growing, but they've poured so much into those kids. And their happiness is to see them thrive. They have sacrificed so much comfort for themselves, so many times awake at night time, so much. Their work is to earn enough so the kids can go to school, so they have a roof over their head, so they eat, they have what they need, their clothes, and other desires and needs that come up, medical needs as well, that are oftentimes imposed just by the development of circumstances. So parents are so happy to see that growth. And that line, the Lord, you know me, and you search me, and you know me. You know the intentions of my heart. And I'd just like to go through a couple of words here in the first reading about Paul's attitude and his companions' attitudes when they went out to encounter new communities, to bring them the news that death has been overcome by the source of life himself, that there is hope for humanity, that reconciliation is possible. And let's look at the motives that he has here. First of all, in the city before Thessalonica, Philippi, he was whipped and bleeding from the whipping and put in prison. There's an amazing story of the experience in Philippi. You can just check it out there in the Acts of the Apostles. It's quite the beating they got, and Paul is referring to now in his account to the Thessalonians. So he's coming despite that. He's coming despite that fact. So he's still persevering in the effort to bring good news despite being beat up, because he was doing it in another city. There's an extraordinary tenacity there. There's an extraordinary will, a sense of conviction, of priority, of dedication that's way beyond the ordinary. And I don't think he attributes it to himself. He would say that's by the grace of God. In a way, parents put a lot into kids, but if they still have a little bit of faith, they're going to say, well, I didn't do it, I did it with God's strength. God gave life to these children. These are not my fabrication, like I go and get some stones and build a road or something. There's a lot more in this. There's a lot of depth here, a lot of really mystery. It's beyond my fathoming how all this happened and came about. And then Paul goes into the motivations, and this is where we go deeper. And he says he didn't deceive them. It wasn't a con job. There's truthfulness, truth. We weren't trying to please you, just to flatter, to get a cheap goodwill wrongfully, but truly to love them. We weren't working for motives of greed to get something from you. And this is just pure self-giving and gift. We weren't looking for praise or likes. We weren't looking for positive feedback. We wanted you to know the goodness of the fact that death is not the last word for humanity, that people, enemies can reconcile, that there's forgiveness for sin. These were our motives. We were gentle among you as a nursing mother cares for her children. With such affection for you, we were determined to share with you our very selves as well as the good news. This is really beautiful. The deep motives of the heart that move us to do things, the daily chores of every day in the family, the love for a spouse that maybe some of the rough edges become visible, and yet there's patience, and there's illness as well, and there is generosity and readiness to serve. This is where life is at, people. This is the beauty of it. Lord, you have searched me and you know me. We don't have visitors. This is just an agricultural plain. We see these working here pretty regularly over the years, doing usually spraying. God bless you, people. See you later, alligators.